at it. Let's be committed. This is this walk and talk. Welcome in. It is 5:15 in the morning, people. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this process. Thank you for showing up. Continued presence. Drop in. Let me know where you at, what time it is, where you are, where you're checking in from. Let's get today going with some high energy people. Let's get it going. Let's get it started. Let's see where you are. Maybe you're at the end of your day. Maybe you've been in your day for a few hours now. Maybe you're in the middle of your day. It doesn't matter, because today's talk is about endurance. So this is definitely for those of you who may be in the middle of your day or the end of your day. For those of you who may have been working all day already. Just got to make sure my mic is on. Good morning, Ryan. Clifton, good morning. Good morning, good morning. How you doing this morning? Welcome in. Welcome in, everyone. Thank you for being here. It is exciting to be here this morning, full of energy, watching things grow and develop. Good morning. We have Brooksy, 5 p.m. in Australia. All right. 5 p.m. How you doing out there in Australia? Welcome. Thank you for being in here. Today's endurance. Have you endured the day, Brooksy? How did it go? How did the day go out there in Australia? Was it a beautiful day? Let me know how much you enjoyed it. People were talking about endurance today. The reason we're having a conversation about endurance today is because when it comes to our growth and our development, you have to endure. Endurance is similar to perseverance. Perseverance, the major difference is when you're persevering, you can take a little bit of a rest, right? Perseverance is where you look at, you see, and you continue to grow. You maintain your focus, you maintain your drive, but you can take a moment to sit down and contemplate when you're in perseverance. Perseverance is I relate perseverance is more of a mental exercise, where endurance is a physical exercise. Endurance is when the challenge gets to a point where this camera goes crazy. Endurance is that part of the exercise. It's that part of the challenge where when we are in the middle of it, in the middle of doing it, and we want to stop, we want to quit, in the middle of that exercise, and it's almost done, we're almost there, we understand and we're close to there, and we say, well, can I just for a second, just catch my breath? That's endurance. Endurance is that moment where I don't want to quit. I don't want to give up. I want to keep doing it, but can I just take just like a second? What a challenge with that is, when it comes to endurance, endurance is the thing that allows for us to see that the option for taking that second is there, but the growth in that moment is in that endurance. It's in that ability to be able to understand that this is the challenge and this is the moment that the growth is actually taking place, people. When we work on endurance, and I've let everyone know here, I've been a personal trainer, I've worked out for a lot of my life. One of my favorite things to do is pick up heavy weights and put them down. Cardiovascular endurance has always been kind of a challenge. It's always been kind of a thing where I've been like, whew, maybe next week, maybe tomorrow. Maybe I've run far enough. This is good. I feel good right here. This feels like a good stopping point. So how do we get better? Well, what I had to do was I had to learn that every time I went through a cardiovascular training process, the endurance is that last part. It's that little section, right? Most of what we do, we feel like the endurance is the entire thing, right? So they have like these endurance races and things like that. For me, the vision of endurance, it isn't that part of the race where everything is just, normal. It's what we do. It's how we get through. It's how we make it. Endurance is that part of the race where we've been holding a steady pace, and now the body is starting to cramp up, starting to get difficult. The challenges are starting to mount. The brain, the brain and the body are starting to want different things. or they're both starting to want the same thing, which is a moment, a respite. That's when endurance kicks in. Endurance kicks in that moment when all of those things that you've been running past, all of those things you've been getting over, all of those things that have always been there, right? Those things that are just a part of the process of getting to the end of the race. They come to you and they're like, hey, my feet hurt. Hey, I'm tired. There are a lot of things that I like to do right now. Most of them involve sitting down. That's when endurance kicks in, when you start to endure that. When you start to see that these things have these challenges, they have this difficulty, they have this requirement for you to be involved, engaged, and to continue to fight. When those things happen, that's the moment when endurance kicks in. And that is when we're enduring. And coming out of that, perseverance is when you endure that day, when you complete that process with your finances where you're like, okay, I just need to make it this month, and I need to set aside $5 a day for this month. And the endurance is when you get to week 3 on Thursday and you really want a coffee. And you're like, man, I knew this day was going to come. Well, let me endure. Let me continue to push forward and make sure I set this $5 aside. I understand I have to sacrifice this coffee. And then we continue to grow. We continue to push forward, continue to endure. When we make it to the end of that day, the perseverance is the thing that lets us know tomorrow's coming. Tomorrow's coming. And you have $5 to set aside and you really want coffee. And you really want a snack. You really want these things. Perseverance is the thing that drives. Perseverance is the thing that lets you know it's okay. It's okay because we're working towards a goal. And you're going to go through another tough day, but you can make it. And that perseverance is where we recover. That perseverance is where we renew, where we build that strength to go back out there and endure another day. And don't get me wrong, even in things that we enjoy, there'll be moments where we have to endure, where we have to understand that we have to keep going when the body and the brain feels like that we can't. When we no longer can do so, we have to continue that fight. That is the big thing about understanding what endurance is and being able to endure on a daily basis. Good morning, Rampage. Thank you very much. It is all about being able to understand when we apply the elements of discipline to what we do, and we understand the work that we do on ourselves is what's going to push us towards achieving our goals, we'll be able to see that overcoming many of these challenges will require for us to demonstrate the endurance. I appreciate everyone for being in here this morning. As always, thank you for joining me on the walk. It's a pleasure to have you here. Please do me a favor. Take a moment to drop in where you're checking in from, what time it is, where you are. Always like to hear that from you guys. Ryan, thank you, brother. It's amazing to have people check in and be a part of the process. I do know people, I do know this for my personal journey. My wife and I, we're attempting to do more to grow our business and establish ourselves so that we can provide for our family in a way that we believe that fits our lifestyle, fits our purpose. There are many challenges that can come up. Endurance oftentimes has to do with just you, just yourself, just your journey. Rampage, I was just praying to stay disciplined and endure everything that comes my way. I never want this feeling to fade away. Ontario, Canada, thank you very much for joining in. And always stay in prayer, Rampage. We'll make sure that we're praying with you as well. Always motivate. Check in at Milwaukee, thank you very much. Ryan, thank you, I appreciate that. We'll do so. And we appreciate all the support. One of the major things that my wife and I have found is that endurance quite often has to do with ourselves and the goals that we've set. So we have a tendency to be very ambitious. We have a tendency to want to set goals to drive us to be active. And oftentimes, we occasionally set goals that we are like, okay, this is really tight. Okay, this is something we can do. This is something we can achieve, but it's going to be in a very tight window for us. In order for us to achieve it, it's going to be really strict. Occasionally we achieve those goals. Sometimes we don't. It's that moment for that goal that we set where we say, hey, we can get this done. And it's little things too. It's not always major things. Sometimes it's for little things like getting furniture put together. For those of you who are familiar, you know we have 7 children. So sometimes it's, hey, we're gonna have the kids in bed by a certain time. Sometimes it's little things like that where we set these ambitious goals and then we get close to it, right? Or we get past it. And now that's when the endurance has to kick in. Okay, I get it. We said we were gonna have the kids in bed by 7:30. It is currently 7:45. Well, we can't stop. We have to keep going, right? Because we have a reason for why we were trying to get them into bed at 7:30, right? So now what do we have to do? So for this group of children who haven't gotten into bed or aren't in bed yet by 7:30, we have to continue to work as a family. We have to endure what is yet to come. We have to continue to push. We can't just give up and say, okay, well, guess we're not making it to the movies. Or, okay, I guess there won't be any surprise. Or, okay, well, I guess we can't go work on our new content, our project this evening. No, you have to endure. You have to understand that even when those things come up, those things that cause us to feel like we've been delayed or we've been, or we're not progressing in the way we'd like to, we have to understand that we are still capable of growing and reaching our goal. We're still capable of enduring and still performing, still seeing a positive outcome. And that's going to be really, really big, guys. That's a major thing. We pray constantly for discipline. I want to share with you, Rampage. I'm not sure if you're still there or not, but thank you for stopping in today. One of the biggest things we say about discipline is that discipline takes work, starts with repetition. Repetition is just the ability to be able to say, hey, I'm going to continue to do the same thing. I'm going to just get up. I'm just going to be present, right? Follow that up with After you've done your repetition, you're going to follow that up with patience, knowing that whatever thing it is you're working on, it may not be done immediately, but it will get done. And then after we complete that process of repetition, we move right into consistency. That's correct, Ryan. And consistency is that repetition with a specific metric attached to it, meaning that repetition with the focus on performance and improvement. And then when we go from consistency, it's about what we're talking about today, which is perseverance, which shows up in work as endurance. Perseverance is simply your ability to be able to say, I understand that I am working towards something, and when it gets hard, when it gets tough, and when I sit down and I think about it, and I'm at the end of my day, or I'm at the beginning of my day, and I know what's to come, I know what challenges are ahead of me, that's when we pray and we persevere. And we don't persevere we don't seek to persevere just to be there. We seek to persevere to continue to grow, to establish consistency, to grow, because it really becomes difficult. And this is where endurance and perseverance are a little different. Endurance means that you're here and you can see it working. It's just challenging. It's hard to do. I'm still walking, I'm still running, but it's really, really hard to do. It's really difficult to do. Whereas perseverance is when it's those moments where it's like I can't even see movement. I don't even know if I'm going, I don't even know if I'm headed in the right direction. I don't know if there's still the opportunity to do it. Is what I'm looking for still at the finish line? What am I working towards? Perseverance is going to be that mental thing. Perseverance is going to be that spiritual tolerance, that ability that we build up to continue to grow. That's why it's going to always be important, guys, to understand when we are out here and we're growing and we're working on our discipline, we're working on our leadership skill sets to improve our own capability and growth, that we have to keep all of these things in mind. We have to understand what we're working towards, how we're working towards it, and what's the investment that's important for us to do in order to be able to achieve it. Once again, guys, as you check in, if you haven't done so yet, please drop in where you're checking in from, what time it is, where you are. Appreciate a thumbs up if you could have it as well. It's always nice to have people here to be able to share. It's a beautiful thing for my wife and I when we work together, because we met each other working together. And we both had a sense then, we both had a sense of where we wanted to go and how we wanted our life to look. We had a sense of what we wanted our future to live, what we wanted our future to look like. And I'll let you know, then we were really far away. We were really far away from where we are now and where we're headed. That journey, right? That journey, this journey has been long, right? We've been on this journey now together going on 14 years. And this process of this journey for us has required for us to both change and grow. And when I mean change, I'm not talking about change from who we are, but change from who we were becoming. So who we were in the moment didn't fit where we wanted to go in the future. And we just had to figure it out. We had to know. We had to grow. We had to learn. My challenge as a husband and a father was to truly figure out, what's my responsibility? What's my goal? What am I accountable to? Who am I accountable to? In what way do I need to show up? We spend so much of our time believing that money is the way we solve our problems, that as men, what we have to do is work. And if we don't have the answer, we need to work more. We need to work harder in order to achieve that. And I'm letting you know that with discipline, the work no longer is on the work that you do, but the work you do on yourself. When I became aware of the fact that what I needed to do was to work on me, when I became aware of the fact The focus needed to be on working on myself versus working on my job or this thing that I wanted to achieve. When I understood that the focus was to work on me, it changed my life exponentially. It became clear to me that the things that needed to happen in order for me to see better in my children's lives, in my life, in my finances, required for me to become a better version of me. I didn't have enough knowledge to provide the type of support and information and guidance that my children were in need of, that my family was so desperately in need of. So I had to work on that. I had to become smarter. I had to become more knowledgeable. I had to learn to spend more time learning, studying. I had to learn to stop being so wordy. I had to stop being a know-it-all. All of these were things that I corrected, things that I had to shape, things that I had to focus on me. And then I saw them as they made a change in my daily walk, in my household, in my daily walk on my job. I was able to grow in all of these areas. It will require constantly for there to be growth, for there to be commitment, for there to be a belief that what we're doing has a purpose. And not just a belief, but a truly strong, grounded understanding that the work that we're doing is for a purpose and for a cause. And then once we're committed to it, that we can achieve it. I don't spend a lot of time here talking about money. And the reason I don't spend a lot of time here talking about money is because it's not about the money that's out there, because the money you want is out there. Keep in mind, we're not waiting for them to print new money. Most people don't own businesses. So if most people don't own businesses, how are people getting wealthy? Is it possible to get wealthy by the work you do? It is, but you have to work on you so that you understand what to do with and how to do with the money that you have, the money that comes into your life. If you are not prepared to manage the money that comes into your life, then what's the point of watching all of these courses about doing something with your money? What's the point of watching a class that says, hey, when you get $1,000, do this, if you don't have the discipline to set aside $1,000? You don't have the discipline to set aside $10,000. You don't have the knowledge and the understanding of in what areas of your life to make changes to achieve that. It doesn't matter if someone says, hey, you can flip houses, you can wholesale houses. Here is my $13,000 course in which I'm going to teach you how to wholesale houses. And then you go in there and you pay $13,000 only to get to the end of it and have them tell you for an additional $5,000, I can give you a book of leads that can help you get started on your way. What? And if you give me another $500, I can have the people make the calls for you. What? So you're paying them to have you do their work and split their money. There has to be knowledge. Trust me, I'm telling you for somebody who's fallen for the scams. I'm telling you for somebody who's been to the seminars at the hotels, the Best Westerns and the Holiday Inn Expresses, where, oh, we have an all-day event and we're going to talk to you guys about how you can turn your leisure time into luxury, how you can turn your spare change into riches. Come, spend time with us. $500, 2 tickets for a day. You will receive all of these books and pamphlets that'll show you the process. And you get this stuff, and you're looking at these workbooks, and you're reading this stuff, and you're like, man, every third page It's telling me I need to pay for this or pay for that. This doesn't, like, this stuff is from 1978. You're just, these stories in here, they don't make sense. And so you sit through it and you're like, man, this is a scam. And then they get to the end of it and they tell you, hey, we already have a network of buyers set up and we just need people to find us projects. And for every project you can land for us, you can get a piece of the return. Dude, I'm telling you, I've sat through all of it. I'll tell you my horror stories later. But here's the important thing. You have to have enough knowledge. You have to work on yourself enough. And you don't have to have the same pitfalls that I've had. But we do have to work on ourselves enough to know when we've reached our goal, when we've reached our objective. We have to know enough about being able to start the work on where it is we're going so that when we get there, we know we're there and we're not just spinning our wheels. Guys, it's always great to have you on. I appreciate you stopping in and being a part. As I said before, we'll be here every day to do this walk and talk. We have been traveling quite a bit lately. We went on vacation. We also had some business travels we needed to do. I appreciate the continued support. I appreciate the continued showing up, the prayers, and we look forward to seeing you guys again very soon. Thank you very much for being here this morning. You guys take care and have a blessed day.